Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We are not inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. We are at Sedgefield for the Wyndham Championship in Greensboro. We drove by the carcass of the ACC office on the way in. I guess it's already occupied. Did we not want to take that over? We don't want to leave our friends at Empire Properties. I don't want to do the commute to Greensboro. Let's be real.
No, but I like this homage. We're here at the birthplace of the ACC for the Wyndham Championship. Come on down. You see some great golfers. Going to be a little soggy tomorrow.
A smidge.
But the forecast does look good for Saturday and Sunday. A lot of recognizable names here in this tournament. Some bigger names too. Here at the end as the players jockey for position in the FedEx playoffs. So such a great event, such a great course. You know, we started our golf year at Raleigh Country Club, a Donald Ross course.
We did.
A PGA Tour event, the Corn Ferry Tour, and we enjoyed it tremendously. So I like the alpha and the omega, if you will, of closing our summer season with another trip to a Donald Ross course, Sedgefield Country Club. It really is a great track. It was so wet when Jackson and I played, our director of social media, Jackson Giglio. I fear that it'll just soften the course for these guys, and their length is such that it doesn't matter.
Okay.
The wetness doesn't bother them, you know, but it will slow the greens. I love seeing Shane Lowry and Justin Rose here. The harder the course is, the better those two guys play. So we'd love to see them have some success this week.
I'm really trying to tamp down my inner 13-year-old with all these references. I'm really trying hard. 7 inches, no problem with the wetness. Like, I'm trying, dude. You're testing me. You're really testing me.
Got like the steam.
It's like
the flow commercial.
I'm more mature than that. I'm actually not more mature than that. Look, I enjoy coming out here because this is now becoming tradition, where my whole goal when we come out to Sedgefield is to see if we can track down former ACC commissioner John Swofford.
Yeah.
The Ninja Swaff is here, but I did not dub him the Ninja Commissioner for no reason. The man is very elusive. The man is very hard to track down. He appears and disappears as he pleases. And while I thought I had him, he slipped through my fingers, and he is now off meeting with more important people than us, Joe. His golf buddies, not us.
It happens.
I know. Maybe next year. Maybe next. I'm always told.
Maybe when he gets off the ACC payroll, he'll be more willing to have a public conversation with us. Until then, it'll probably be.
Wait, are you telling me he's actually not too busy for us? He just doesn't want to get in trouble? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Why put yourself in a position?
No, I know.
Because he knows you might be nice.
You won't.
But you know I'm going to give him the hammer. And he knows that.
Do you want to break news on the OG? Nah.
Everyone knew the guy was retired. All I got to do is throw me the smallest of bones.
Nope.
Nah,
I don't feel like doing it. I do not feel like doing it. So, yeah, that's honestly the big reason why I enjoy coming out here is I'm trying to track down the commissioner. So I'm going to
miss all the shots you don't take, Joe.
That's why we show up. Look, man, it's one thing that I learned from you and I learned from the newspaper business. You got to be there. You got to be there. You cannot try to do this job from your couch.
It's tough.
It's really, really difficult to do this job from the couch if you want to get plugged in. So you got to show up. So we showed up. And I just wanted to let the listeners know that we failed year 2 of our trips to Sedgefield. 3rd time's the charm, Joe.
Always.
3rd time's the charm.
That's what they say anyway.
All right, so coming up on today's show, we're going to check in with App State head football coach Shawn Clark. I believe at some point we are going to bring on Josh Graham. Just fair warning for the Josh Graham appearance. This is going to be something that I felt was more in his wheelhouse because we're going to kick it old school radio on this particular topic.
Radio E.
Very radio-y, very deep summer topic. I thought it'd be appropriate if we included Josh.
The best part of that conversation is Josh, you'll see, gets visibly mad that he didn't think of it first.
I know. Sometimes I like to flex on Josh. I might not be in radio anymore.
I can still.
But I still got it.
Hey, baby.
I still got it.
Hey, girl.
Okay?
I could do a radio segment blindfold backwards.
We were told we never had any good ideas once. That's
I got
not
your
true.
7 inches.
Not true. Not true. Speaking of radio-y, this is actually a very radio-y topic, and I'm sure if I was listening to WFNZ right now out of Charlotte, let's see, as of this recording, so Kyle Bailey would be on right now, and if I'm Kyle Bailey, I'm opening up the phone lines, and I'm asking the question, should Bryce Young, quarterback, Carolina Panthers, play in preseason game number 1 against the New England Patriots on Thursday night with Dave Canales as the head coach? Now, Dave Canales met with the media yesterday. Dave Canales saying that Bryce Young is not going to play. I'm going to play this YouTube clip from yesterday's press conference, and he had his reasons why. All I ever ask with the coaching staff is if you're going to make a decision, please explain your work. And this is one thing that I really do like about Dave Canales so far. He will explain his work.
Bryce will not play. Okay. And then we'll take that kind of week to week and, get a sense for, do we need to get him out there in this system and kind of get a couple of series, and do that. That's something that, I've done in the past. We've done both. So for this game, he will not play.
You kind of go over the pros and cons in your mind of that decision, and how did you handle it with Baker last year?
Yeah. So, different situation last year in Tampa. We had a quarterback competition, Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield. So we wanted them out there getting those opportunities. This is different. We know who our guy is, and he's doing a fantastic job. The growth and all that matters. I've seen the plus side of going out there and just being able to, have the cadences, the mixes, the plays coming in, the play clock, the situations and all that. Those are really important as well. But I also know, we're depending on those guys too. So the flip side of that too, which we've seen some different models around the league, is let's make sure that we're throwing those situations at them, getting our move the ball periods so that we can function and see where we're at.
You guys released the first depth chart.
So that was Dave Canales at yesterday's press conference explaining the reason why Bryce Young is not going to play in the preseason game against the New England Patriots. And based on his reasons, I mean, at this point, you don't play him at all in the preseason, even if it's the dress rehearsal, which would be the 3rd preseason game as of now. You agree with that?
You can go either way on this.
Okay.
Last year, I wanted to see more of Bryce Young. I wanted to see the offense and the different pieces, because I believe you need to start the season fast. You have to go quickly. Coaches obviously believe that they get more out of these combined practices. They get plenty of reps. They know their team better than we know their team. But ultimately, what matters is, what do you do when the lights are on? And how do you best prepare your team to be at their best when the lights are on? I come from a thought process of, I want to see you in the most game simulated situation possible. But the Rams in Sean McVay's first year, they didn't play at all in the preseason.
No.
They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So what happens?
Look at the preseason champs, the Baltimore Ravens.
Hey, don't. Now I need to re-up my DraftKings account. Why? You had to tell me that. Totally forgot.
Don't sleep on the Ravens in the preseason. They ain't going to lose. Hey, Rod Brindamore wants to play a certain way for the Carolina Hurricanes. They go out there and they play their asses off in the preseason games. I mean, it's just a general philosophy. Yeah. I'm with you in that I can see it either way. All I ask is you explain your work, as I said at the beginning of this conversation. And I think Dave Canales has done a wonderful job explaining his work. So I'm going to take it with that. Because to your point, coaches keep telling you that they get more value out of these preseason joint practices outside of the fights. You just saw where 2 teams were fined a whole bunch of money by the NFL for yet another fight breaking out. So that's the risk you run with these joint practices. Last year, I remember certain joint practices being canceled straight up because things had gotten heated. If that's what you want,
we're ready to hit somebody else, Joe.
Exactly. Give me the coach cliche. I will say this, and I say this in favor of not playing Bryce Young in a preseason game. What are you really getting out of one series? What are you getting out of one series? Because that's what these preseason games have ultimately been about. Now, if you get to the 3rd preseason game, which is that dress rehearsal, as they like to call it, well, then, yeah, you're probably going to see a little bit more action. But in the first one, where all they were going to do is trot him out there and have one series of play and then get him off the field, and that's the end of it, it's just a dog and pony show at that point. So I actually am in agreement with what Dave Canales is doing, right? When he said, like, he's not in competition. I mean, he wasn't really in competition last year either. When you're the overall number 1 pick in the draft and the job is yours the minute they announce it, because you are the hope, you are the future. You're so good that they're taking you number one. That's a little bit of a stretch for me, but I understand where Dave Canales is coming from in the situation he was in Tampa last year, where there was no surefire situation going on. So I'm going to take him at his word this year. There is no competition. It's Bryce Young's job. You're working on the things you need to work on to keep it simple, and you're really only going to get an opportunity to see if it works is in week one. To your point, you got to start out quickly. If they feel this is the best way to start out quickly, I'm with it.
Yeah, and at some point in camp there will be an injury.
Yep.
And
there already have been injuries.
And somebody will say to a coach, well, why were you wasting reps in a preseason game?
Yeah.
So I get it. But I think if you are the Panthers, you do want to start quickly. You want to have some sort of confidence, especially with this new regime, especially with Bryce Young. And the way that last season was such a labor for him. You want him to experience something good. And I do think there is value in playing in the preseason. But I respect, like you say, I respect the fact that he has this idea and he explained it. So you go on from there.
Housekeeping. It's brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online, ENOVANA.com. Green Cleaning Solutions. We're on the road. I've got the Roadcaster. I do not have the jingle, Joe. Do you have the jingle?
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it green clean with Enovana.
Big thanks to Hometown Realty. I wonder if Hometown Realty can get me one of these houses here in Sedgefield, man. There's some really nice homes out here.
Could definitely get us into the ACC headquarters. So feel good about that. Maybe not one of these houses.
Maybe not, but maybe the lease rates over at the that old office space by the Grandover is where it's at. Contact them, myhtr.com, Hometown Realty. A lot of new construction. As things continue to push out in the area, right into the Triad area, a lot of new construction. And Hometown Realty can help you out with the builders, their incentives, get you on the fast track to buying that new house. Also, big thanks to Two Roosters. We are a couple of days into the new month, which means you better not be sleeping on these new flavors, Joe, at Two Roosters. Check them out, tworoosters.com.
Peanut butter cookie. That's all I have to say.
I had either an email or a tweet from somebody that went and got the peanut butter cookie. I don't know. Darn it. I can't find it. But all I know is that they went and got the peanut butter cookie and they were in love immediately.
I am
immediately.
I don't know how Jared does it. He's a magician.
So big thanks to Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out, wh.lawyer. We made it to Greensboro without incident, so that's good.
You drove, though, so
I did drive.
A little bit less of an accomplishment than when I do it.
But you also know that I tend to go a little fast at times. I do rely on the Google Map information to tell me where there could be some speed traps. Yeah. Google Maps even asks you, hey, is that speed trap still there? And I'm like, yes. Hit the button, keep it moving. So if on the way back, I find myself in some sort of traffic-related incident, I know who I can call. I know who I can contact. Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out, wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. So we're in the middle of housekeeping, obviously. We've got the podcast festival that's coming up August 24th. We keep selling tickets. We're trying to – I'd like to get to 420 because that's like a really fun number to get to. The capacity is 450. We sell tickets every time we mention it. I know there's some stragglers out there, some late arrivals, wait until the last minute, but we can tell you that when we go on at 6 o'clock, it's going to be Debbie Yao. We're going to have some fun with You're Full of Shit Giglio. We got 2 handles of bourbon we're going to be giving out to those winners. One thing we do have to figure out is how we're going to get contestants. Like, do we take when people show up, do we have like a sign-up box to say, hey, if you want to participate in You're Full of Shit Giglio, sign in, and we pull some names out of a hat?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that would make the most sense.
Hey, you got to hit the button if you want to have a meeting.
Oh,
sir.
sorry. We're having a meeting. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Also, please, I'm not begging. I'm just asking, please, 5 stars, 5 stars only, positive vibes only. When you give us 5 stars, it helps out with the podcast discovery. It helps out with the algorithm. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like. You can leave the comments. You know I'm getting better about responding to those comments in the YouTube. I love getting into those comments when we do Hey Joe. So check it out. Go to the YouTube page, hit the like, get the comments. We appreciate that. But back to the podcast festival. It's brought to you by Breeze Through. We cannot do the podcast festival without them. Hell, Joe, we can't do a lot of things that we do on this podcast without Breeze Through.
No,
So big thanks
there
to
are
Adam and the
corporate
crew.
champions.
A true corporate champion. They're all corporate champions, but a lot of things that we're able to do right now, big thanks to Breeze Through for us being able to do those things. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is the head coach at App State. The football season's right around the corner. Camps are in session. He is Shawn Clark with the Mountaineers. Coach, how are you?
Doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
So you 5 days into camp right now and of practice. I am curious, it's been enough time for the kids who have been playing EA Sports College Football 25. Have you had any player come up to you and ask you or tell you, hey, coach, look, like has Joey Aguilar come up and be like, look, I'm just saying this play works every single time in the game. Let's run this. Has that happened yet?
It has, and there's a couple of plays on that game that's very similar to what we run.
Okay.
So if we would just call it, Y cross, I mean, it would be the play. So, but yeah, that's a great. I'm excited for our players to have that game. There's a lot of players that had their feelings hurt when their ranking came out, or their team speed, or how fast they were. So that's always used in practice. When someone drops the ball, I say, hell, you're a 62 ranked on the EA Sports. So what do you expect?
I've got great news, Coach. I was going through my dynasty last night, and they have scrolls from out-of-town scores. App State knocked off Clemson in week 3 on mine. So I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just telling you, EA Sports thinks they're calling it's a deal. They're calling their shot. So
we should just cancel the game and just call it a day.
Hey, on Giglio's NCAA sim, we won this game. So if we could just mark that one down for us, I'd be appreciative.
Yeah, we call it the game. I can go to the lake that weekend.
Perfect. In other seasons, you would have these great out of conference tests, and you have more this year. And God bless you and thank you, because you have the only interesting schedule in the state of North Carolina. So I say that from the bottom of my heart. I say thank you. In years past, you got to run this table. You got to hope Alabama loses 5 times and Georgia loses 8 times, and maybe the committee, you have a friendly voice on the committee, maybe you get in. But now, if you're the highest ranked Group of 5 champion, you have a spot in the college football playoff coming off your 9-win season. That your team has to have a lot of juice coming into this year with the opportunity that's in front of you.
Without question. And we talk about it as a program, talk to our players about it. And we're not going to hide from the fact that that's one of our goals, to make the college football playoff. But in saying that, you have to play well early. You have to be able to have some big wins. You have to do well in your conference. But our kids are excited about it. It gives you a true pathway to play in the big dance, and those are going to be our goals. We have high goals here, high expectations, and we don't run from that.
Did you ever put Brett Strelo in charge of scenarios? Okay, Brett, what has to happen for us to get into the playoff? The old 4-team model. There has to be a diphtheria outbreak in Athens, and all this other stuff.
Brett is the king of the Excel spreadsheet, so he has scenarios.
He can do that.
You call him Brett, we call him Streezy around here. So he's got a little nickname now. So no, but that's like the old FCS days. If this happens, that happens. But we're going to control what we can control. I really like our football team this year. Our kids are excited to play, and I know we have a lot of team speed, and our guys are excited for the 2024 season.
Speaking of things that you want to control, there's only so much control you can have in your scheduling. You guys try to schedule aggressively. That's been the history of App State. You want to continue that, obviously. You've got some great history that comes along with knocking off teams that way. But earlier this summer, late spring, there was some legislation that went in that was trying to make sure that teams like NC State and Carolina would play other teams in the state of North Carolina, including yours. It seems to have kind of gone away. Maybe my understanding is, politically there were some concessions, or it was heard. We'll go forward from that. But what did you think? We haven't had a chance to talk to you since that came out. We'd actually talked to the General Assembly member who brought that bill to the front. What were your thoughts on that being kind of baked into how football is played in the state?
Well, I'm a big advocate of playing in-state games. I really think you should keep the money in-state. I think it's great for our fans of the great state of North Carolina. It's great for college football. If you look around the dynamics of football now, you have teams going from the East Coast to the West Coast to play a game, and where we could just drive 3 or 4 hours down the road and play in front of a sold out crowd. And again, we want to continue to do those. I understand. And I'm sure this is where it's going to, is the NC State game that was canceled. But I have a lot of respect for Dave. He's one of my best friends in the coaching profession, and he has to do what's best, what he thinks is best for his program, and I have to do what's best for our program. So hopefully we can get that back on the schedule soon, because I think it's great for everyone in the state of North Carolina.
That was a super duper coach answer.
I'm
not ready for that.
That sounds like a General Assembly kind of answer. Very, very, very even right there.
Yeah, we haven't talked. Like, we're welcoming here. We're in downtown Raleigh. Like, we're state grads. We're totally welcoming to you. We like you. We don't even have a kid who goes to App State. We just like you.
There might be one,
but this is the last time we've talked to you. I'm going to clean up my language because I'm sober today and my kid's right here. Mac Brown has a football game. Mac Brown, former App State coach, goes, "Yeah, we're never playing them again on the field." Like, okay. And now NC State, Dave Doran, whose son graduated from App State, goes, "Yeah, man, sorry, we're not playing." You're like, you got to take that shit a little bit personally, no?
Well, it's unfortunate. And if Dave wasn't such a great friend, it would probably sting a lot more. But I do get it. I mean, listen, their goal is to make the playoffs championship also, and that's one of their goals. And they feel it's best to go play a Power 4 team on the road at Virginia, or wherever that game may be, and that's their right if they want to. But I do want to get to a point in the future that we can play these games. Why would we travel all the way to California to Stanford to play a game? Or if for us, we played New Mexico State and Idaho early on the Sun Belt, and there was probably 3,000 fans in the stands. And now you play these games at North Carolina, it was sold out. All three places were sold out. Yeah. We played Wake Forest here in Boone, it was sold out. If we go to Wake, it's sold out. I would love to have Duke on the schedule. I give a lot of credit to East Carolina for playing us in a 3-game series. Coach Houston has a great program down there. And all 3 games, well, the game in Bank of America had a great crowd there on Thursday night. We come here to Boone, one of the all-time records at App State. And I'm sure we're going to have a great crowd there in Greenville. So, again, I'm a big advocate for it. I hope we can get to the point we do that, because we're wasting money traveling from coast to coast just to play a football game.
Shawn Clark, App State coach, joining us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Coach, I don't know if you know this, but you could sell your car to the Heister Automotive Group. Your fans here, the App State fans here in the Triangle, know this. So check them out at heisterauto.com. Coach, last year I asked you, how did you find this Joey Aguilar from Diablo Valley Community College? What a great find. That's how App State makes their bones, man. You find a guy like Joey Aguilar. But you had a different challenge this offseason, because with NIL and the portal, I'm sure, just like last year when we talked to Riley Leonard, a lot of people were knocking on Joey Aguilar's door saying, "Hey, man, you want to be, let's just pick an SEC team. You want to be Auburn's quarterback this year? You want to be Ole Miss's quarterback? You want to be, you name it." I'm sure he had a lot of suitors. So how were you able to hang on to Joey this offseason?
Well, again, let's go back to how we found Joey. First, it was in California, and Coach Ponce, who was the quarterback coach at Miami at the time, I called him. I said, "I'm looking for a quarterback late in the recruiting process." And he gave me a name, and we watched his tape a few times. I said, "This kid's pretty good." So we sent the OC at the time to California to watch him work out, and he was a take for us. And then you fast forward, Coach Barbay goes to Mississippi State. Coach Ponce comes back to App. It was a natural fit. And that was right in the transition from a few other schools. He visited us. We offered him the scholarship. He committed. So we're very fortunate to have him on our team. But mentioned to your second question, there were a lot of suitors coming after him this year, with a lot of zeros behind it. And to Joey's credit, he comes from a great family. They understand about loyalty and what it means to finish what you say you're going to do. And Joey has unfinished business here. He wants to win a championship with this team. He loves this team. He loves Boone, North Carolina. And again, we're fortunate we have him in our football team.
Do you feel like you've got a little bit more continuity? I mean, not just at the quarterback position, but just a little bit more continuity with all the things that are going on with NIL and the transfer portal and everything else, to have that key piece back to go with whatever else you got coming back offensively?
Yes, we do. This is the first time since I've been the head coach we've had our offensive coordinator 2 years in a row. And we are one of 25 schools in the country that returned their head coach, both coordinators, and starting quarterback. So anytime you have that continuity like that, it gives you a chance to really jump on your program per se, as far as you can really – you're not holding back, teaching a whole new offense or a different quarterback or a new coordinator. You can really expand on what you've done. And we've done that through the offseason.
Speaking of the offseason, you mentioned the lake. that you want to get back to the lake. I'm assuming there was a lake that you were spending some time with at this summer that you'd like to get back to one last time. Am I reading too much into that?
It's too late for that.
Is it too
No,
late?
you're not. It's not too late. It's never too late for the lake. But
good.
you know, we were very fortunate. We have a houseboat at Watauga Lake, and it's just a place to get away. And what I found out this year is I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. Was a thing called high school workouts and travel balls and middle school football. So that boat was only used about 7 times this summer. So something has to give. They got to quit sports. Or give up the houseboat.
Man, yeah, that's I feel you on that one. With a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, the 13-year-old who plays travel hockey, I found out real quick that the window of time we have for a trip was about June, and that was about it before he wanted to get back on the rink. And now that he's getting into a stage where they're going to be hitting, they're going to be checking at his age level. He was like, heck, he was asking me yesterday, can we get back to the gym? Can we get back to the gym? I'm like, okay, I got other things to do, man. But yes, we'll try to find some more time. So that's a tough balance. You got those kids that you got to worry about travel wise, and you got your kids on campus you got to worry about and getting them up. So that's not a lot of time.
There's not much time. My wife's a full-time Uber driver, and we put thousands of miles on our cars. So you never want your kids to grow up too fast, but I can't wait till they get 16.
Yeah. That's not always a given. As a 16-year-old, I'm struggling to get his hours up, man. Struggling to get his hours up, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Coach, I'm not going to lie to you. Doing our little homework here before, I thought Liberty was a conference opponent because the Sun Belt really is strong. And, you've talked before about how the depth of your league, it really is impressive. The cockamamie rule where James Madison wasn't eligible last year, are they finally eligible to compete, or are we going to have another one of those conversations this year?
No, JMU this is their second year in the conference. They're ready for bowl eligibility and conference championships. So that's good.
When you look at your side, I mean, not only because you had mentioned, you got to New Mexico and some other places, but your side, Coastal, ODU, Marshall, JMU, that actually gives you some regional juice, some regional foes. I mean, that has to help not only recruiting, but also I know your fan base will be there for a funeral, but they'll show up for certainly interesting games like this.
Well, yes, we will. And you go back to our conference within a 5-hour radius, our fans could be at any of our non-conference games from Boone, North Carolina. And I give a lot of credit to our Commissioner Gill, but Doug Gillen had a lot to do with that. He was very involved with, App was a centerpiece of the Eastern Division. And again, it's a great conference. And every week is just a grind. We can win every week. You can lose every week. And you look at the rivals just we have. You go back to the 80s, the 90s, and the Marshall App State were in the Southern Conference. Georgia Southern, whoever won those games usually won the Southern Conference. And you pull out great teams like Old Dominion now, James Madison. They've had some big wins in their program, and the list goes on and on. The Coastal Carolina has become a big game around here. So those are fun games to play in. I'm glad we have those games because, again, we're selling out stadiums. We're like 115% capacity in our stadium right now, and that's what you want to use in recruiting. You bring recruits on campus for these electric atmospheres. In my opinion, the best fans in college football is right here in Boone, North Carolina.
Let me apologize to the sons of Yosef because I should have mentioned Georgia Southern on your side of the river there. I know that's an actual rivalry there. I don't need I have App State friends. I don't need them getting mad at me, Coach. You know what I mean? I don't need that in my life. So I just need to put that out there for you.
I appreciate you doing that. Our fan base is pretty rough, as you well know.
we have an interesting relationship, but we're growing.
I think there's an understanding, and I'm sure they'll love it. That I'm going to ask you for a Grayson McCall scouting report. I mean, you saw Grayson, right?
I saw him I recruited Grayson when I was when I was an assistant coach at App. I recruited that area, and I had Grayson on campus 3 times, and I was begging for us to take him here at App State.
Yeah.
Then we had the coaching transition from Satterfield to Drinkowitz, and Drink had his guy he wanted to bring in, and I was fighting for Grayson. I think Grayson's an unbelievable quarterback. I mean, he is so competitive. He's got a nice touch on the ball, and again, he can really run. When the things break down, he runs, and he's a winner. And I have nothing but great things to say about Grayson, even though he's beat us a few times. And but again, you have to call it what it is, and that's true respect. And I expect big things, and I'll be a Grayson McCall fan this year.
Yeah, they were running hot at Coastal Carolina there. And I know some injury issues have kind of sidelined him, but the people are very high on him going into the season for the Wolfpack. I was going to say you're friends with Dave, so I would imagine you've talked about Grayson McCall with Doran.
A little bit, Dave. He has his own way of doing things, but I was happy that Grayson went to NC State. It's a great fit for him. Dave runs a very similar program of how we do things in the mountain, the build on toughness and the grit, and I think that's going to be a great fit for both sides.
So much corporate synergy between State and App. I mean, there's even Murphy Centers for heaven's sake, right? So
that's right.
Anyway.
And yet actually dovetails into my question to you. Like, this is going to be full-time now, year 5. Does it feel like it? I mean, I feel like it was yesterday. Drink was off to Missouri.
Yeah.
It feels like year 10, to be honest with you.
Well, you've had a lot happen.
There's been a lot. Every year has been. I'm probably the only head coach in America that's every year has had something crazy happen in the world throughout the NILs, to the transfer portals, and we've been able to withstand that. And as crazy as this may seem, I'm the longest tenured head coach in the Sun Belt, and that's going on 5 years.
You're going into year 5.
Going to year 5, and
wow.
So they call me the mayor of the Sun Belt, or Sun Belt meetings, because again, this conference is tough. And if you don't win, you're not here. If you win, you're usually gone. So it's one of those situations. But I'm happy where I'm at. I love this place. I hope to retire here one day, and then I can sit in the stands and get on Twitter and complain about the coaches and have relax a little bit
from the lake, from the houseboat.
That's actually one of my favorite things Dave has ever said to me. So I'll give you a quick great moments in Joe and Dave history. It was like 15 or 16. They had a procedural penalty coach where the receiver, the tight end, was covered and went out on a route, and they got flagged on the play. The drive stalled. They ended up losing the game. And it was one of the Boston College games. And so like I gave it like a good full 2 weeks before I gave him a hard time about it. And it was after practice one day, and I said, hey, did you guys go over like procedurals and how to line up and some of that stuff? And he was like, he looks at me and he goes, you really are a smart ass, aren't you? And I said, yeah, you didn't figure that out. He goes, I can't wait to retire at 55 and work at a bait shop and get on Twitter and just start criticizing things that you do. I was like, that's fair.
That's fair. He'll be in the YouTube comment section.
There we go.
It's got to go both ways, Dave's a straight shooter. You have to make sure he's a straight shooter. You know exactly where you stand with Dave when you talk to Dave.
That is fair. That is fair. App State coach Shawn Clark, we appreciate the time as always. I'm sure we will check in the middle of the season. And again,
good luck, man.
The Clemson game's already called.
Just put it
it's already called, so we're good.
That's right. I appreciate it, guys. What you guys come up for a game this season?
Yeah, you know what? I think we're I know
we got the roadcaster on the road, man. We could do this.
Watching.
Don't challenge us.
We're gonna have to look at the schedule. We might have to come up there.
I might need the cathartic win over Liberty, and you ruin their parade. I would enjoy that, actually.
We just got to make sure we can get you to come down to one of the breweries while we're doing a show.
Well, I'm in for that. The R&D Brewery is one of our favorites, Mountain Brew.
There we go.
The Mountain Brew.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. All right, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So we're at a golf course, Joe. What does that mean?
People are ready, including this gentleman drinking a Dr. Pepper right here.
Yeah.
With his Robeck shirt on.
Yes.
I have my Robeck shirt on today.
He's rocking the North State one.
The old North State.
The old North State.
Yes.
One.
Land of Sky, actually. Yeah. I have that shirt.
You have that one? Yeah, I was going to say it looked familiar. That looked familiar.
I got my peaches on today.
You got your peaches on today.
I got my peaches from Robeck. Oh, yeah.
Go to roback.com. Use the promo code OG20. You can save 20% off your order. Big thanks to Happy and Hale for being a OG corporate champion. Didn't mention it in housekeeping, but it's a perfect opportunity to mention here. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday, we are going to be out at the Happy and Hale in North Raleigh. Not North Hills, the one off in North Raleigh off of Six Forks. So
Six Forks and Strickland. Yeah.
So that's where we are going to be. Come by, say hello, check out the smoothies, check out their new burger bowl, and of course, download the app because you get some goodies that go along with that app, including some goodies on your birthday, right, Joe?
Free bowl.
Love it.
We could take a golf break. Brought to you by Happy and Hale.
If I did get that speeding ticket, I would really hate it if my insurance shot up. This is where Matt Davis might be able to help out. State Farm, InsureGarner.com, DOGinsurance.com. Give him a call at 919-779-8277. And Matt Davis can help you save a lot of money on your home and auto. We've had some listeners who have reached out saying you guys weren't kidding. Matt helped us save us some money. That's awesome. And we'd love to hear success stories like that. So if you have another success story, by all means, shoot us an email or tweet us or contact us through Instagram or whatever. We'd love to hear those stories.
If you go to like the MAC 12 game of the week, West Virginia, Utah, let us know. Bring an OG hat.
All right, so we are at the Wyndham Championships at Sedgefield. It is the original home of the ACC, and I thought it would be appropriate since we're here to bring on Mr. Triad. He is Josh Grant, WSJS. Have you taken residence in the old ACC office yet, the carcass of the ACC office?
I was joking with Giglio that last year him and I were together the day moving trucks were here moving stuff out of the building, which coincidentally was also the day Oregon and Washington officially joined the Big Ten.
Oh, wow.
And the rumors started to percolate about what the ACC was going to do. So we were in a pretty somber, pour-it-out mood, which is a great place to be in Margaritaville, where they have loaded land sharks. Are you familiar with a loaded land shark?
I am not familiar with a loaded land shark.
If you walk up there and ask for a loaded land shark, they will hand you a land shark and ask you to take a sip out of it. And however big a sip you have, they will fill the remainder to the top with tequila and shake it up.
Oh, that sounds like something lightweight Joe Giglio would have a real hard problem with.
I don't see any transfusions on the menu.
No, there are no transfusions on the menu, unfortunately, for you.
But it is good to be here.
So, no, the real reason why I wanted to bring you on is because I thought if we were going to have this conversation, we might as well bring somebody else in that's very, very familiar with the area. And it also helps that you're literally sitting next to us. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's make this happen. Pitbull. We brought this up yesterday, but we did not know what the actual deal was going to be. Well, late Tuesday, we found out what the actual deal is. Pitbull bought the naming rights to FIU Stadium over the next 5 years. So a $1.2 million deal where FIU will now play in Pitbull Stadium. And I thought to myself, well, if this wasn't classic summer sports talk radio topic, I don't know what is. That's like tickle the phone lines, man. Just like, here, punch the number, give me the artist that needs to buy the naming rights to your football team. Is that not like perfect summer sports talk radio? Phone lines, to borrow a phrase from the Pac-Man, phone lines are jam. Call right now. So you, being still Mr. Radio Man, I thought you would appreciate this too. So the first question is, if there was going to be a musical artist that bought the rights to Carter Finley Stadium, who would it be?
I thought you were setting me up for something different. I thought you were setting me up for my alma mater, East Carolina.
We'll get to ECU.
Okay.
And we're going to get to App State as well.
The problem is, Scotty McCreery is the obvious answer because he is a huge fan. The problem is, I don't know if that gives you the cachet that you want. I think.
Oh, I hope Scotty doesn't hear that.
Whoa, man. No. Garner. You cannot slander Garner or the Wolfpack.
Scotty, Scotty, listen. For the record, that is Josh Graham, WSJS, who's saying that Scotty McCreery might not have the cachet.
I'm a fan. I'm saying the genre might not, in the sense of a big part of this is social media reach and impact.
Okay.
And I think Pitbull, who has fallen on tough times in terms of like music hits.
What are you talking about? Mr. Worldwide. He has his own channel on Sirius XM.
He played Carrie last year.
Right, and?
I'm just saying.
Don't you slander a fellow Cuban.
Whoa. Mr. 305.
He's going after a Garner? He's going after Cubans?
No.
Josh, why did I invite you on if all you're going to do is insult our people?
No, I'm just saying.
You want to take a shot at the Italians?
I don't know.
We're the last one you're allowed to make fun of.
I don't know if anybody is making jokes or it's going viral. If it's Scotty, probably for good reason, because everybody likes Scotty. I think Pitbull opens himself up for jokes and things of that nature that I don't think Scotty opens himself up for. That's the point I'm making in terms of cachet, not like music quality. I love Scotty McCreery's music.
I don't want to get into BJ's pockets. I don't know how American Aquarium is doing. Maybe he could do it. I know John Tesh has money.
Ooh. Just do all round ball rock.
No, you get
The one big loop like a Billy Ray Cyrus show.
the obvious answer for NC State is John Tesh. You call it round ball rock. You can call it Wolfpack rock.
Yeah.
And you actually have the fountain right there for him to do an updated version of round ball rock for the Wolfpack.
Where he's dribbling and
right.
and Jason Sudeikis comes with his brother.
How about, does it have to be music? Like, what if it was Zach Galifianakis?
Wolfpack. See, it's right there, man. It's right there.
Mixed with Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you could throw him in too.
The Ferns. Just let him do the Ferns.
Yeah, one-man Wolfpack Stadium.
Yeah,
Between two sidelines.
I like that. All right. North Carolina.
It's a Satchel Stadium.
North Carolina. Keenan buying naming rights.
Oh, let's see him weasel himself out of this one.
The problem.
I know the answer.
genres.
The genre, but
Again, it's the same problem. And Eric Church, I love his music. I do, but are the folks at Kid Brewer going to be okay with
that's
that?
the thing. I think a lot of those App State fans are also Carolina fans. I mean, clearly there's a track record here.
Well, hold 1 second, though.
It's the Eric Church
I
Luke
got
Bryan
it.
Stadium,
No,
right?
I got it. Armando Baycott gets his buddy Travis Scott to get into football. I don't know if he likes Carolina football. He's not showing up to Carolina football practices, I don't think.
Sicko Stadium? Is that what we're going to call
We'll
it?
figure it out. Or Mac Brown calls up his buddy Matthew McConaughey and says, listen up.
All right.
I can't buy Texas' stadium. That's too much. But I could buy Keenan maybe.
And we're also giving short trip to one James Taylor. Come on now. Duke is easy. It's Cascadia Stadium.
No. Ninth Wonder. Get ninth on it because he's actually a fan. Mike Posner, he's doing those exercises with John Shire.
But Ninth Wonder is a fan of Duke basketball. I don't know if he's a fan of. I honestly don't know this about Ninth Wonder.
What
so-
musical act would be super pretentious and not as good as they think they are?
Do they
for
play
Duke football?
Cascada at football games?
Ooh. Do they? They play Cascada football games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. when
For the
they come
Wallace
out,
Wackos.
yeah.
Ooh, that's a really good way of putting it.
Carolina would be the legacy act from 40 years ago that was awesome. And you still get people like, remember that time?
Yes.
With Michael Jordan?
Charlie Choo Choo Justice.
You remember that time?
I mean, there was a streak there in the 90s where every game they had something that they honored Charlie Choo Choo Justice for, because what else were they going to honor at that point?
Carolina would be Aerosmith. Remember all those great songs we had?
They just retired too.
Come on.
Because Steven Tyler can't sing anymore, unfortunately. So Duke is Cascada. I'm going to ride with that.
Okay.
Every time we touch, the live performances will be off the charts. All right, let's get to ECU.
Petey Pablo.
Why?
He is the pride of Greenville. I think he's from Greene County, North Carolina.
Okay.
He is in Greenville. He's still single and mingling. I had a friend of mine send me, he appeared on Bumble.
Really?
Recently in Greenville, America.
He was on Bumble?
That's right.
Did he
Petey
just put
Pop?
the lyrics of Freak a Leak in his Bumble profile?
I should have asked for more details on this, but
Because as Joe discovered, if he wants to get Bumble to work, all you got to do is put the Freak a Leak lyrics unedited in there, and it's fine.
I'd never heard it before.
Yeah.
that is the best song of his.
We'll go to Sup Dogs, and anyway.
No, I like it better when you say controversial original take, because he gave that same take.
What?
That Freak a Leak was his best song.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, Freak a Leak.
You're like,
Freak a Leak is the best.
You either called me or texted me. You were like, controversial, totally original take. Drake May is Carolina's Phillip Rivers, and I'm like,
Incredibly controversial take.
Wow. See, I love the affirmation, though. It actually makes me feel better that Joe Ovies has a similar music take as me.
So, App State. It can't be Eric Church, because that'd be, even though Eric Church was selling App State merch at one point in
It's
time,
Luke
we know he's a
Combs.
Carolina guy.
It's
Straight up
Luke
Carolina
Combs.
guy. Is it Luke Combs?
It has to be.
Has to be Luke Combs? Okay.
One time, I've told this story before. One time I called Shawn Clark's office for something.
Yeah.
And never do I get a receptionist, ever. And a guy picks up, and he's like, yeah, this is Shawn Clark's office. And then I get to Shawn, and Shawn's like, yeah, that was Luke Combs. Just picking up his phone, he thought it'd be a funny joke. They're tight like that. And
Oh, man.
he's at College Game Day, so
Yeah. All right. So Luke
that's the
Combs makes a
guy.
lot of sense. Okay.
That's big time.
Now I'm thinking outside North Carolina, and you could think of Virginia's easy. That's Dave Matthews Stadium. Syracuse would be Billy Joel Stadium. As one of our Syracuse listeners pointed out,
Who's Miami if they got Mr. 305?
See, I'm mad
FIU?
about that. I ranted about this yesterday.
Shakira, J-Lo.
Yeah, J-Lo. Yeah, I don't know if J-Lo's on some hard times right now, so I don't know if she's got the money to buy those rights. It could be the Miami Sound Machine. It could be Gloria Estefan. That actually might be the one that makes the most sense.
Speaking of being good a long time ago and haven't been heard from since.
Right? We have not heard from Gloria Estefan in a long time, and my dad would be hype about that because he still feels some type of way about Gloria Estefan.
Does the state of South Carolina have anyone else other than Darius Rucker who obviously would not be Clemson's guy?
No, he would not be Clemson's guy. He'd be South Carolina's guy.
Yeah.
Now, one of our Syracuse listeners pointed out that Billy Joel used to have a banner at the Carrier Dome before the renovation where he had done 7 shows there, the most of any artist. So Billy Joel makes a lot of sense there. Virginia Tech, kind of tricky because they're associated with Enter Sandman, so I don't know, but Metallica's not from there. They're from the Bay Area. So just a thought.
I think it would still work.
I guess it would still work. So anyway, I had that thought exercise. I thought that that's like a real easy, you don't feel like working for an hour on the radio. You just open up the phone lines for that one.
Michael LeBron, who's the greatest? Go.
And I'm here to help you, Josh. I'm trying to help you make your job easier.
How would you fix baseball? Let's go. Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
Let's go.
You need Pete Rose Hall of Fame, yes or no? Now, but this is a serious
Should
topic now.
athletes be paid? Oh, wait. Darn it. We don't have that one anymore.
Now that we have gambling, has it changed your view on Pete Rose? No, it hasn't. He can't bet on the game. That's it here nor there. All right. I think that's it. You're wearing your Orioles stuff today?
Yeah.
Have you still convinced Giglio not to bet on the Orioles?
There have been financial conversations. Some NIL trying to not get him to bet on the Orioles. If it means...
How's that going to look? Are you going to have to wear like a WSJS gear in the studio now?
That'd be
so
great.
That you don't...
That'd great. We get a sticker or something up there. We'll figure it out. But just know, Jim Phillips had the jokes at the press conference a few weeks ago.
He roasted your ass.
But what he said to me afterwards, not on mic, he said, when the Orioles go to the World Series, we're going.
Okay.
Apparently, the Orioles manager came from the Cubs, where he got the dome, and Jim Phillips knows everybody. So I'm just putting that on record. If the Orioles are going to the World Series, Jim, we're going.
Jim Phillips knows the Orioles are going to be the Orioles. They're not going to go to the World Series, so he's never going to have to cash in on that bet.
And he knows Giglio can't resist betting on it.
That's true, too. That's true, too. But you know what?
Ultimately, you're right.
Meanwhile, the White Sox should be paying you to put money on the White Sox.
I did not bet against them last night.
Okay.
All right. I can't be blamed.
All right. I'm just double checking on that one. Just double checking. All right. Josh Graham, WSJS. All right, man. Go do your radio show. We'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Big thanks to Longleaf Swan for being an OG corporate champion. We're going to be at Longleaf Swan later on this month. Joe, you will be at Longleaf Swan.
I will be.
You will be. I will be on my way to Hershey.
August 29th. Carolina plays Minnesota that night. State plays Western Carolina. Your tailgate. Come on over. Longleaf Swan. Shorties don't count. Everyone knows. Get yourself a burger, brisket, barbecue.
It's all excellent
Whatever
stuff.
you want. Cheers.
So you get that brisket. I was actually having a conversation with our old buddy, Chris Clark. Chris Clark is a big burger guy.
Okay.
Like Chris is the type of guy that goes to an incredibly fancy restaurant and he gets the burger. That's what he is. And one time he was down in South Carolina. He was in Charleston and he went to this very well-known restaurant called Husk. Are you familiar with Husk?
No.
Okay. So Husk, some people who are listening in the audience know exactly what I'm talking about. Husk has like chicken skin fries, or it's pig ear fries that I distinctly remember. They were off the charts, really, really good. Anyway, Chris was like, "No, you gotta." Chris was like,
"Is this an ad for Longleaf?"
It is. Follow me here. Follow me here. I'm sure Adam and Mark, if they're listening, they're going, "Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about."
Okay.
So he's like, "Get the burger at Husk." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So he's that kind of guy. So I told him when I met up with him the other day. And I said, "Have you gone to Longleaf yet?" He's like, "No, I haven't gone there." I'm like, "You need to get the burger." And he started being all wishy-washy. I'm like, "Let me explain the burger. What was it that Adam told us?" I'm like, "You know how you can get 80-20 at the store?
Yeah.
This is more like 20, 28. You know, like it's the opposite. It's like, it's the brisket. It's all the stuff that's in there. And let me tell you, it hits like no other burger in town. That's what I'm getting at. So Mr. Burger Connoisseur, I'm putting him to the challenge. Everybody that I've said get the burger has been skeptical when I say it. And then when they have it, they go, "Oh, yeah, You weren't kidding. Of course I would not kid you about a burger. Come on now. So check them out, longleafswine.com. Maybe you get inspired by Longleaf Swine. You have their barbecue. You really like it. You like their brisket. You're thinking, you know what? Maybe I want to try this. Head on over to the butcher's market, and you can ask for really whatever kind of cut of beef you're looking for. Yes, we promote the signature steak tips. Yes, I'm all in on the pre-made frozen meals to make your life easier in the middle of the week. But if you're ready to get adventurous, you want to do it big for tailgating this upcoming season, well, head on over to the butcher's market, and you can get whatever kind of cut of beef you want, whatever kind of cut of meat you want, and make that thing work. So head on over to thebutchersmarkets.com. So we're at the Wyndham, as we established. The weather's in and out. It's been kind of a weird day recording. Hopefully things will break their way this weekend for the tournament. And joining us now on the Easter Automotive Group Hotline is the Executive Director, the CEO, Mark Brazel, of this tournament. Thanks for making the time. Thanks for having us out.
I am. Listen, I'm happy to be here always.
So this is the last event ahead of the playoffs.
Right.
Things have shifted around with the tournament schedule. I almost feel like I'm asking an obvious question here. With it being the last event, how much does that affect who shows up to this type of event, the importance of the event, and how it just kind of impacts everything from sponsorships to attendance?
All good questions. So this is it's kind of like the end of the NFL. The last, the importance of the last game in the NFL, especially if it means something.
Yeah.
Well, this tournament really means a lot. So it used to be that the top 125 on the FedEx Cup ranking after our tournament got to keep their card and go into the playoffs. Well, last year was the first year it turned from 125 to 70. So now it's not so much a race for your card, it's a race to get into the playoffs. But the playoffs are only for the top 70, right? So the top 70 after our tournament on Sunday will go to Memphis for the FedEx tournament. So those 70 they'll go down to 50 after that tournament. And that number is really important because not only do they get to go to the second playoff event, the BMW Championship, they also get They write their ticket for next year's signature events, which are the $20 to $22 million purses.
Yeah.
And that is like a whole nother world of money. I mean, instead of playing for an $8 million purse, you're playing for a $20 million purse.
Yeah.
So when you look at the money rankings, they're all skewed because you see all the players that got to play in the signature events, and they got so much money, and they're up top. So that's a big deal. So top 70 is really important after our tournament to go into the playoffs, but the top 50 takes you to the second one and gets you to the signature events the next year. Then there is the Comcast Business Top 10. After our tournament, there's the top 10 guys from the FedEx Cup rankings after our tournament will, $8 million for the first place and go down $40 million.
Okay.
They'll split up $40 million. And so that's a huge bonus for these guys. And then there's some implications, the President's Cup implications. So if somebody plays really well here, whether it's an international player or an American, somebody's going to have to take a look at them because they're playing well and they're going right into the President's Cup.
Lucas Glover last year.
Exactly. Perfect example. And after the BMW Championship, they will select the President's Cup top, I think, first 6 or 8 players.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons that it's important to play well here. So I think we've got more storylines than just about any other tournament.
Yeah, sounds that way.
Yeah.
You mentioned last year you're first with the top 70. You had an unbelievable moment on the 72nd hole with Justin Thomas. Well, where were you? And what were you looking at? And were you like, man, are we just about to make history with this chip in?
The worst part about being like either my tournament director, Bobby, or me is we are rarely watching golf. So I didn't see any of it. I saw it on replay. And it was on replay immediately. I wasn't watching golf. I was running around with my head cut off.
That's no fun.
Yeah, I wish I'd have watched it.
Did you watch
My wife calls me. She goes, "Can you believe it?" And I go, "What are you talking about?"
What are you talking about? Actually, the more improbable moment of that hole was the second shot out of the pine straw.
Yeah, no.
On the left side of the fairway.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like what an unbelievable shot behind a tree.
It was a great recovery shot.
Yeah,
and
just to put himself in position. You had great crowds out here last year with JT. You got Shane Lowry and Justin Rose out here this year. You got some hitters out here this
Jordan
year.
Spieth. I mean, Jordan Spieth's a top 5 hitter, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Having Shane Lowry and Justin Rose, and then Minwoo Lee and Sung Jae Im, and I mean the international part of this field is incredible, really. I mean, there's a lot of great. I mean, Robert McIntyre won the Canadian Open and the Scottish Open this year. He's a lefty. They call him Bob over in Scotland. That's where he's from.
Bobby Mack.
Bob. Yeah, they just love him. Hey, Bob. They're all yelling his name the whole time. It's a great deal. And we love having Margaritaville. This is what I call the hub of the tournament. I mean, this is it.
That's a good spot.
Central hub, right?
I love the spot. I love the vibe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be doing one of those land shark, like landful thing. Like I said, they can take a sip and they're going to put a tequila shot in there. I mean, that just sounds like a good time to me.
It sounds like I don't see what could go wrong there.
Now, we have to kind of discuss the Debbie Downer situation here with the tropical storm that's coming through. What is the protocol with what's going to be happening tomorrow?
So, a lot of this, obviously, it's kind of a passed down effect from the PGA Tour, and we're waiting kind of to hear. And I think I know what's about to happen, but we're waiting for the PGA Tour to kind of officially say we might try to play a little golf, but we don't know if it's a good idea to have fans and sponsors out there tomorrow because of potentially dangerous conditions.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know, and so I think that's about to be announced, and so I think at the end of the day we may be taking a little day off tomorrow.
Okay,
and then coming hard back on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and hopefully get it in Sunday. We might even play some golf on Monday. So we'll just move it back if we can. So hopefully.
So I know you played in the rain here for the media day. So
it was crazy wet. You guys have gotten a lot of water. I don't. That look right there tells it all.
Mark is giving us a look. If you're not watching on YouTube, he's like, "What else?"
I'm a 7 handicap. I lost like 10 balls that day. I couldn't keep it in the fairway, and I couldn't find the ball. You know what I'm talking about? Because it was like that high and wet.
Wild. It's so tough.
I needed spotters.
Yeah.
All over the golf course.
I just play by PGA Tour rules by that point.
Just throw it out.
Yeah. No, if there was a gallery here, they would have found it.
Yeah. That's how it works. Yeah.
You're right. And then place it up a little bit.
So the question is, with all the rain that we've already had, what is, I mean, you're going to be out there with a squeegee? Like, how does this work? You're just hoping the drainage really kicks in here?
It drains well here. It all drains through the creek, and it does drain pretty well here.
Okay.
So, as long as we don't get clogged up somehow, we'll be fine.
I guess you're more worried about down trees than you are about the grass taking things in.
I'm a little bit more worried about down trees, maybe some bad winds, even tornadoes that might come through with it tomorrow. It's not probably not going to be worth to have anybody out here tomorrow.
Gotcha. Okay, that all makes sense. All right, we'll get out of here on this in just the sense that this is a tournament that has been supported by the local community for years. I know Giglio's referenced the old GGO and everything else. So I guess kind of tying it back to the start of the conversation with the change in the schedule and everything else, what is the future of this tournament? And with the way the PGA schedule turns out, and what can we expect?
There's been a lot of changes, obviously, with the signature events and all the discussions about the PIF and LIV and all this stuff. So, but I almost feel like we're kind of a little bit in a cocoon. We've got this date that a lot of tournaments would really like our date.
Okay.
And so we're quite happy with this date. We feel like we can make this good each year, even sometimes great, and I feel like it's just going to get better and better. This tournament's field is a little bit stronger than last year's field, and I like that trend. I didn't think it would be head and shoulders above it, but I like the trend of watching our tournament's field get better. I think that helps with sponsorships, that helps with interest. So yeah, it's up to us though as a staff to get out there and sell this thing and make it bigger and better. And that's what we're planning on doing.
Well, listen, you, McConnell Golf, you guys do an unbelievable job here. For my money, this is the real championship of the state of North Carolina.
Listen to that.
They played a different championship on a Ross course earlier this year. This is the real one.
There it is.
This is the real one. Thank you for supporting Greensboro the way that you do.
85 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, we are so thrilled with this is really a community event.
Yeah,
it's a Piedmont Triad. It's a North Carolina event. It's been going on since 1938 when Sam Snead and then Ben Hogan and then Byron Nelson. They all won this in the first 4 years. So we've got a great history. Our champions are incredible. And, it's fun for me to see a lot of our older fans because I know they've been at this thing for 50, 60 years. And I love seeing those because they're walking historians in this tournament.
It's great stuff.
Just don't tell the Donald Ross statue what I said about him after the 12th hole, okay?
I think he's asleep over there.
Okay.
Mark, appreciate the time, man. Good luck this week.
Thank you, guys.
Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group Hotline from Wyndham, she is Leah Gurma. Thanks for having us out here. The Sedgefield folks do a great job. This whole entire setup is a great job. Wyndham has been part of this tournament now for a few years, and you guys knock it out of the park. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited to be here.
But it goes beyond just like putting Wyndham on the name of the tournament and everything else. I think this all kind of starts up on a Monday with First Tee, and I know there was a big mural unveiling. What was the Greensboro 6?
Yes.
So what kind of went into that, the thought process behind that, and highlighting that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, our history at the Wyndham Championship has been almost 2 decades. And throughout that entire time, we've been partnered with the First Tee organization. And, we've worked with them over the years to really shine a light on their cause. And, we actually host a youth clinic with them every year, and about a year ago we decided to move it to the Gillespie golf course. And so in that transition we started to learn about the history of Gillespie and the history of the Greensboro 6 in particular. And through that conversation and dialogue, we realized that there was a huge opportunity to shine a light on this incredible story of these 6 black men that were changed the face of golf and what they did many, many years ago to help desegregate Gillespie. And so the idea of the mural was really just an opportunity to just shine a brighter light on the story. We know that the Wyndham Championship is 1 week out of the year, but we really want that impact to be felt all year round. And the mural was a great opportunity for us to, work with the community, work with First Tee to create something that would live on forever, sharing the story of the Greensboro 6 and the history that they made so many years ago. And we know there's the youth clinic, all the kids that come out through the First Tee will be able to look at that and sort of understand the history going forward. So
that's great.
Super exciting for us to be a part of it.
That's great.
You guys have done something that's really difficult. We were used to this tournament having a different name, like the Greater Greensboro Open. Like you can even ask old people, but now
the old GGO.
You have to explain the old name now because everyone is Wyndham is now synonymous with Sedgefield in this tournament. The PGA Tour has lost some title sponsors, but you guys have this great relationship with them. Just talk a little bit about how that's kind of helped you and also Sedgefield.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so it's been a long-standing relationship. We have a lot of deep roots here, as you said, and now it's known as the Wyndham. And for us, I mean, there's so many reasons why we find it valuable and continue to partnership. There's so much visibility, right, with the championship. It's the caliber of this event is incredible, and to be associated with it is just exciting for us as Wyndham. And the game of golf has also just picked up so much popularity over the decades, especially in the pandemic. I know I was one of these people that picked up clubs and got on the golf course with my girlfriends. It's outside.
You gotta get outside, right.
So to be a part of that momentum, to continue with the sport, to really bring more visibility to our brands is important.
I'm still upset because I almost had a hole-in-one on 12 when I played out here a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Would that have gotten me like 374 bazillion Wyndham rewards points? Like, could I have gone to like France or Italy or both? If I had gotten that hole in one.
Yeah, well, we have over 60,000 incredible destinations all over the globe, including everything you just mentioned. But yeah, I mean, we are so proud about all the fan activations that are here on course. I mean, we're actually this year giving away 1 million points every day away to not only fans on course, but fans at home watching. So there's lots of fun things going on. We have the Margaritaville, which we're here today. We have Club Wyndham Beach. We have
I was going to say at 15, the beach is really what I think of when I see the Wyndham rewards.
A lot of popularity at the beach. And we have some new activations. We have our Putter's Paradise. Fans can come play putt-putt golf. They can win prizes.
I was curious about that. When I was walking up, because I think last year when we came up, they had the big sandcastle, the sandcastle motif right here by the practice range. And I saw the this with the grass and the tee and everything else. So there's an actual putt range inside.
There's a putt. There's 5 holes.
Awesome.
And every hole that you hit, there's some prizes that you can win. Again, you can get entered in to win a prize for 1 million points. And you're kind of taking a journey through all of our destinations.
Well, we're on a journey right now, so I think we're going to have to cut this a little bit short as the skies have opened up. I think folks at the Wyndham are going to have to get used to this for the tournament, as we've got Debbie coming through, Debbie Downer, unfortunately. So, Leah, we appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And this is a great event. Hopefully the weather will break enough this weekend that things will be great. I know Thursday is going to be a little bit dicey, but hopefully the rest of the weekend will be fine, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for supporting Greensboro. Yes.
Our pleasure.
All right, let's get out of here on some Hey Joe. And we had some reaction to the fake gym dance. I went over to the YouTube comment section from yesterday's show from Curtis. Gym dance uncensored, whole new meaning to hello friends. And please put this phone call on the Shorts channel, please. No, I don't think Shorts will allow all those curse words. Let's be real. From Brett on YouTube, Texas is the most talented team in the country. That's something that you said, Joe. Actually, according to Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio, Ohio State, Bama, and Georgia are. Texas is also below Texas A&M, Oregon, and Oklahoma. I'm not knocking the Bud Elliott blue chip ratio thing. Blue chips are in the eye of the beholder. I still think you can say they're one of the most talented teams in the country, though.
Yeah, I actually thought Texas was the most talented team in the country last year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get knocked off of that.
Yeah.
But I know what Bud does with the rankings. But yeah, guys, sometimes you just have to watch the games and see what you're dealing with.
Texas brings it. It's gonna be really like you said yesterday. Texas is, when we got into that conversation about underachievers, Texas absolutely qualifies as one of those underachievers, and they underachieved in a conference that was suited to them.
Yeah.
So what's it going to be like now? I feel like the hiring firing cycle in the SEC now is going to be off the charts insane.
Yeah. I think Texas has it figured out. I think they have the right coach.
Okay.
But Oklahoma, get out of here.
Yeah, Oklahoma might be
does
in
not.
a situation. From Michael, UNC is seen as an underachieving football power because they typically have more 5- and 4-star talent on their roster than other NC schools, and typically they never achieve any more success than the schools considered to have lesser talent. They send high-rated talent to the NFL on a fairly consistent basis, but don't have any ACC titles or big bowl games to show for it. And they continue on. NC State is seen as an underachiever solely because it's consistently good, never great. A solid but not great NC State team does just as well as a highly regarded one. Normally, with an NC State football team, you expect 6-6, 7-5. Whether this is forecast to be the year or a rebuilding year, as is the case for last season. And typically, NC State usually shows up for a bowl opportunity in a day late, dollar short fashion. This year, NC State has the opportunity to break that mold and throw it away, as NIL has enabled them to build a type of juggernaut team that is an embarrassment of riches. I don't know if I want to go and say that NC State's a juggernaut, but I do agree with the overall point that Dave has handled the transfer portal really, really well leading up to this point.
I think Carolina tried to last year with the receivers that they tried to add to Drake May, and then you had the Tez Walker situation and the injuries. So, look, I said what I said. I'll stand by it.
Yeah.
I don't think either one is an underachiever in football. I just don't. I can't break it away from the overall picture that I see for those two programs, what historically they've been and what they have been in the last 25 or even the ACC era, right? Like if you really just want to go back to 53, we could do that too. It's just, I just stand by what I said. I don't think there are enough players in the state of North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I think that pie gets cut up in a way that really no other state in the union does.
Totally agree with you on that one. From Philip, it doesn't make any sense. AKA Dave has underachieved with all that talent. I don't think it doesn't make any sense because it's a weird anomaly that of all, you like to break out that stat for the longest time, that up until ACC basketball this season, winning the ACC championship, like NC State was one of handfuls of schools that hadn't won anything, or the only one.
The only one in the 21st century that had not won or shared a regular season title in football, baseball, or men's basketball.
Yeah, that's like a party trick, you know?
Right. That's impossible.
So I think if you wanted to be fair about NC State, I think it's fair to say they're usually one win short of where they probably should have been. Like, how many times have I said, if you flip that Wake Forest game, just flip the Wake Forest game, and you're probably talking about NC State seasons differently. But to Dave's credit, you might lose to Wake Forest, but you have knocked off North Carolina as of late. And we've truly talked about Dave Doran's tenure at NC State differently the last couple of years because of what has happened with the North Carolina game. And then from Kyle, if NC State shit is dead, why can't Dave win the ACC this year? Hey, man, we've talked about this being the year of the Wolf. This is the time, man. This is the time. All right, before we get out of here, should I do that land shark thing?
Yeah.
Where you take a sip of the land shark and then see what happens?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna close the podcast here, and then I'm gonna go do this. And if you're watching, this is a YouTube exclusive. This is a YouTube exclusive. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm gonna say goodbye, and the next thing you see is our social
second end credits.
Second end credits.
Can we do end credits?
End credit? We don't have end credits.
Yeah, but we'll like roll the beautiful bean footage and then like cut in with you doing the land shark.
Oh, you want like a Marvel movie,
Yeah.
like
an Easter egg,
teasing the next phase.
Thursday's live show. What says Thursday live show? Like I'm drinking.
Me doing a whatever it was called. What was it called? A landfill? Is that what it was called?
A loaded shark.
Yeah. Hey, Josh.
A loaded diaper.
What was the land shark thing called? Loaded land shark? Okay, a loaded land shark. That's what I'm going to do. So if you're watching on YouTube, it's an exclusive.
But roll the footage first.
We'll see you on Thursday. You want me to? Okay, you want me to do this. You want me to hit this. Bonus content on the YouTube. It's time. You ready? Bonus content on the YouTube. As promised, it's time for the loaded land shark. Ashley, what is the loaded land shark?
All right, the loaded land shark is a land shark. Now you're gonna take a healthy sip out of it, okay? And I'm gonna add a shot of lime tequila to it, okay?
Is that a healthy sip? More? All right.
It's a good shot. There you go. Let me take it. Like that. Put the lime on top for you.
Okay. You're right. That was a healthy shot. I probably should have had more. I'm not one to do tequila and beer at the same time, but
It's a favorite around here.
I'm going to make a reference that some of you will understand. If you remember Tequiza back in the day, this is what Tequiza is supposed to taste like. Not that fakey stuff. This is good. I like it.
Glad you enjoyed. You guys enjoy. You're very